so this is just a test. Now, this is definitely going to go on my gaming channel because everything's kind of been a game lately. It's fun. ASMR is a game. Music is a game. Even though I already have a music channel, and then my other channel, which I've been posting some music stuff on. So, I might as well start posting music on this one as well. Now, I don't know how quietly I gotta whisper for this to work. I didn't swear. That was just a shit sound. You know what? Let's get this out of the way. I'm gonna flip a coin once more. Now, also, I'll talk more about the mic in a sec. Heads, we're gonna try not to swear. And tails, I don't care. Okay, heads, so I gotta be on my best behavior. This is gonna be extremely difficult, so I guess that's why it's gonna be on my gaming channel. The game called Try Not to Swear While Making Awesome ASMR. This is the first time I'm making ASMR, so about 2 months ago. Also, I plan on releasing this video the day I record it, so I don't need a... I don't know if you heard that. It was way out in the street. A car just... So about 2 months ago, me and my friends got food, and if you know me, I'm always just blurting out ideas. I'm very ambitious when it comes to new ideas and pursuing these new ideas. I don't like coming up with ideas that I can't actively pursue. Now, even if it's a goal like 10, 15 years down the road, I'm always planning. Don't think I forgot. I'm always planning. Now, I've been watching ASMR for about since 2016. However many years that is, 9 years by now. So, although I haven't made ASMR, I'm pretty sure if I tried, I could be okay. I have unlimited talent and unlimited potential in everything I do. You like that? That was like a demon voice. It's featured in one of my songs. Except it's not quiet, it's much louder. So anyways, the story. I hope the chair creaking isn't too much. Also, I'm gonna experiment moving this mic back and forth around. So, we're getting food and I'm blurting out these ideas. I'm like, hey, while I'm making this music, or once I'm done, I'm gonna be experimenting with a couple YouTube channel ideas. I'm not gonna tell you all of them because that would ruin the surprise. But I'll tell you about the ASMR one since I'm doing it now and you're gonna see it. So, if I ever do start an ASMR channel, wait, that defeats the purpose of what I just said. I was gonna say, when I start posting it, if I start making ASMR videos, I should probably have a dedicated channel. So this will probably be one of, if not the only, ASMR video on this gaming channel. Make of that what you will. Now, if I get lazy, we'll see what happens, but I was throwing the idea around, and one of my friends, she's very supportive. You need friends that are very supportive, even when your ideas are not the best. I had to think of a couple ways to not swear there. Even when your ideas are not the best, you need people that can support them. But you also need people who could bring you down to reality. It's all about the balance, right? You need friends that support you. You also need friends that, I don't want to say weigh you down, but make sure you don't float up to the clouds. Floating up to the clouds. When you float up to the clouds, it hurts much harder when you fall down from the sky. So, keep a level head. But immediately she's like, yes, do it. I was like, alright. lost a lot, but at the same time, she went against the coin. We're getting food, and I was flipping a coin, and it was a couple people. I flipped the coin, and it told me to go pasta. You can't go wrong with pasta. But to be fair, we were at an Irish pub. The other option I was looking at was the prime rib dip. It's like a sandwich, awesome beef, and you dip it in some sauce they give you. I flipped a coin, and it told me to go with the pasta. Now I'm like Two-Face. I got a little acne that kind of looks like it's burn scars. But more importantly, I make a lot of decisions by the flip of a coin. Now, not every decision, important decisions, I make myself, obviously. I just hit a piece of paper. I don't know if that ruined the ASMR. I don't even know if this is good ASMR. Do I care? No, this is experimental. But oh yeah, I lost my chain of thought, but now I remember the coin. When you start just flipping the coin, you don't gotta worry, you don't gotta think, you don't gotta overthink your decisions. I almost started rapping there. But with the coin, it's about accepting whatever it tells you. You don't go against the coin. It's more of a, well, I like to pretend it's fate, but it's more of a accepting results as they are and being satisfied either way, because it's not like one decision is horrible necessarily while the other one's objectively better. If a decision is objectively better, you gotta go with that one. Don't be a clown. But if you're being open-minded and it doesn't matter the decision, flip a coin if you can't decide and be happy with whatever it tells you. A lot of times when this happened, I always I learned something new from the experience the coin offered, or I find the experience a lot more enjoyable that the coin decided for me. That's just how I am. Just sometimes you go with the flow. As someone who's naturally, I like to control things. I'm a control freak, as they would say. So it's good to balance it out by being able to go with the flow for things that don't really matter. Now back to the story. I flipped a coin. It told me to go with the pasta, and both of them said, no, you gotta go with the prime rib dip. You can't get pasta at an Irish place. You gotta go with the Irish dish. Alright. I don't agree with your philosophy. I just accidentally hit the phone on my desk. I don't know if it's gonna, because the way this mic is set up, also you might be picking up the fan in the background, because it is hot. The way the mic is set up, it's attached to a little clamp that's attached to my desk, so sometimes that noise is annoying, but it is what it is. If I turn off that fan, I'm gonna start sweating. So the clamp is attached to this desk, so sometimes if I move it or something, you could hear it in the mic a lot more than if it was just maybe the MacBook mic. Now, I hope it's connected to the condenser mic still. That would be kind of funny if this whole time I was talking, but it didn't pick up because the condenser mic is plugged into a USB adapter, because MacBook, and that adapter is plugged into the MacBook. So it's very loose, and I gotta admit, I'm not the best at taking care of my technological equipment. If you watch the Oblivion videos, you know how my computer is. I haven't turned that thing on since I finished uploading that last video. Keeps blue screening. It's not worth it. And like I say, it's an opportunity for me to focus on my music. So I regretted that decision of going against the coin. The pasta, I don't know how it would have tasted, but it probably would have been consistent because you can't really go wrong with, I think it was probably penne vodka, or maybe Alfredo sauce or something. You can't go wrong with pasta like that. Prime rib dip, not the move. I shouldn't have listened to them. I should have went with the coin. I made sure they knew afterwards, by the way. No, but they're good company. They're good people. They support my endeavors. So yeah, always have friends. Always have friends that are willing to support your ideas, even the silly ideas. I almost said something else instead of silly, but like the coin said, trying to not swear. Yeah, so that went on for a while. How long are we recording? Hold on, let me check. I'm not wearing glasses right now. We've been going on for 13 minutes and 40 seconds of I don't know what I'm talking about. So, oh, you like the hair, by the way? I forgot. I got a haircut the other day. How was my day today? Oh yeah, my day was pretty awesome. So, well, it was very rough and very tiring, but which is why I think it's awesome. It's all about perspective. It's all about perspective in life, right? So, very busy season at work. In fact, after work, so I get out at 5. After work, I went to the gym, doing some bench today. Oh yeah. Last week I PR'd, so this week, instead of going for another PR or even, so when I PR'd last week, I used what I like to call the safety bench, or if I'm squatting, the safety squat. It's got a nice ring to it, but I'm pretty sure it's just called the Smith machine. So I do that when I'm trying to PR, because I'm not trying to have the bar fall on me and I die, because I've had the bar fall on me. I haven't died, but it's not fun, and it's humiliating, and I hate it, and it fuels me to be better. But when I can avoid it, I avoid it, because no one wants a heavy ass, heavy as a bar. That's what I said. I didn't swear right there. I said as, like A-S, just one S. Heavy as a bar. As however much you're trying to lift that day. There, I finished it. YouTube, I did not swear there. Okay, good. I'm glad we understand. I'm not trying to have a very heavy bar fall on me, as I'm sure most people wouldn't. So this week, or today, because I do the gym 3 times a week, and it's just focus on one thing every day of 3 days. I just don't have time to. I mean, I could make time, but it would be cutting away from stuff that I find priority. Lifting and getting stronger, I find it a necessity, but it's not my priority. It's kind of weird saying it like that, but that's just how it is. Some of my friends love to get fit. They're like, I love going to the gym. Going to my gym is like part of my passion. That's not me. I go to the gym because I'm just trying to get stronger overall, like over a long period of time. But that's not my passion, so I go the minimum amount where I still get results. Because I do PR, like I say that, but I PR a lot, especially my squat. I squat, my PR and squats. Just, it's because one time my biggest PR recently with a squat was when I was being a fool and I misread 25 as a 35, so I always just put on weights, and at a certain point I was doing 45, because, okay, this is how you know I don't take the gym as intent. I was gonna say seriously, but that's not true, because I do take it seriously. This is how you know I'm not as big of a gym bro as some of my friends. I count my weight as just how much I put on one side. Other people, they do the whole math equation. I put a 45 on one side. So plus 25 plus 10. That was my squat. And then one day I just misread the 20, or I misread a 35 as 25, so it was 45 plus 35 plus 10 on each side. So that might as well have been two 45 plates on one side. And then when I was squatting, I was like, what happened? Why am I feeling so weak? Did I lose all my strength this week? What? I gotta do better next week. I'm a failure. But then when I went to remove it, I was like, oh, I PR'd. So sometimes life throws you surprises that you don't even, there's a moral in that story. I just can't put it to words right now, but there's a lesson to be learned in that story. You know, I'm always throwing out unsolicited philosophy. I'm always just dishing out philosophy left and right. I can't help it. I always see a lesson in something, and it's something I've tried to do less of, but it is what it is. So yeah, today I didn't focus on PRing, but I focused on getting more reps on a previous amount. And then because I gotta switch it up, I had a terrible mentality. There's a piece of paper stuck to my foot. I got rid of it now, but that's starting to sweat a little bit. So I used to have this awful mentality at the gym where if I don't hit 5 reps of a set, it doesn't count as a PR. So that's how you could probably figure out how I ended up dropping the bar on my face a couple times. Or the most recent one wasn't a bar drop on my face, but it was when I was squatting. I just fell forward, but luckily they had those bars on the side that catch you in your barbell. Every time that happens, I get so frustrated. I get so humiliated. I'm like, do better. And I do better next time, so it's okay. But I just can't injure myself. I've never injured myself like that. I can't knock on wood. Hey, yo. So I said it so my MacBook doesn't turn off anymore. Like that was happening in some of the Oblivion videos. The screen started to turn dim, and I didn't want it to black out. So I set it so my MacBook can go like an hour before it turns off. But for some reason I decided to set the screensaver at like 15 to 20 minutes, so the screensaver still goes on, but it's still recording, so it's okay. I don't know if you heard that. That was a light burp. I try away from the mic. So that mentality I had of 5 reps. So I realized that most of the time when people PR, it's just a single rep of that. But for some reason, I didn't like that. I felt like I was cheating, which is the most unintelligent mentality I had. Now, if you have that mentality too, I guess it's okay. Now, honestly, if you have that mentality, you should fix it. PR is just 1 rep of it. So once I dropped that mentality, like I still like to have the minimum 5 rep thing, but I've gotten more open-minded, and last week when I PR'd, I only did 3 reps of it. Maybe one day I could PR something crazy and just manage 1 rep and swallow my ego. Because I don't know what my actual PR is, because the real PR is just 1 rep, right? So I know my PR for 3 reps, but I've never tried a PR for just 1 rep. I should start doing that at the safety squat or the safety bench. My pull-ups are fine. For my pull days, I just do pull-ups, and then the barbell, that's like that. But I mostly just focus on pull-ups. I'm not that interested in, like I said, I'm not as big of a gym bro as some of my friends, so I don't really care about looking big. I just care about the actual strength, and that's why I focus on compound exercises like bench press, squats, and then pull-ups. Those are my main 3 for each day. And of course I'll do other stuff like opposite of compound, like, I don't know what it's called, I don't remember what it's called, but the individual, like it only focuses one or two muscles or something. Those are little dessert workouts if I feel like it. Like if I have a lot of extra time, I'll do it, but most of the time it's all those compound. Compound is the way to go if you're trying to go strength. How loud is it if I'm gonna sip the water? Is it ASMR breaking? My goal for this video is to not drop anything or not make any terribly loud noises. That's it. I don't care if this tingles or not. Doesn't matter to me. This is just a test to see how long I can whisper and not screw anything up. I think that's acceptable to say. Not mess anything up. So, let's talk about this mic next. So, this mic that I'm using, if I touch it very lightly, I hope it doesn't unplug. You see the pop filter? This is to make noises a little less irritating. You know what a pop filter is, right? I feel like I was speaking a lot more quietly when I just moved myself up here. I don't think there's panning. I was trying it before and it doesn't seem like there's panning if I'm talking over here. I'm pretty sure it sounds the same if I'm talking over here. But that's up to you to decide. Now, if you know me, you know I like to make music. So maybe in the future I'll add extra effects if I do decide to continue doing ASMR, because my two rules when I'm trying something new that I see potential in: one, I'm gonna keep practicing until I'm the best. Two, I'm gonna find something that makes me unique within that field. Now, I'm not gonna tell you what that is in music. That's for you to decide once that first album drops, hopefully next month. But I already have music out on Spotify. But I have 3 singles and an EP, but to be honest, those were just testing phases. I feel bad for the songs on the EP almost, because I never really... One day I'm gonna go back and work on them again and re-release, because those songs I didn't get to hit their potential. I kind of released them. I made them within a month, and I released them just to see how a work of music with multiple songs would be. It's like an EP or album. That was literally to prepare me for this album, and it's been almost 2 years since that EP's been released. And the songs on this album, I've been working on them for the most part. Most of the songs, I've been working on them since before that EP was made. So these songs, I find more personal connection to me. So that's what it is. It's all about making these songs reach their potential. So I guess that's kind of what I mean by being the best. I'm not comparing myself to other musicians, right? I'm not trying to be like Sabrina Carpenter or Drake in terms of popularity. I don't think I ever can be. And a big part is because I'm not trying to be part of a music record label. I'm trying to be the best version of myself that I can be in that field without signing away certain principles that I have. Now, I hope a music record executive doesn't see this, but I've been open to the music industry for a long time now, and kind of understand what goes on. But I think the moment where I was set in stone, I really, obviously there are exceptions in life, but for certain, I will not join a music record label. That moment was, I want to say, early 2022. I became a fan some of their songs before I was even a fan, but it's like artists that you've heard their songs, but once you actually realize they were the ones that made those songs, you're like, wow, I think I'm a fan of them. They're actually pretty cool. And when I say a fan, I feel like I want to move this down a little just so you can see my hand expressions more. I speak a lot with my hands. If you're actually watching, if you're just listening, that's cool too. Badfinger. Oh, right. When I say I'm a fan of a band, that means I've researched. Like, I remember in college I had a debate with one of my friends. He's like, we're talking about Bob Dylan, I think. And I said, I'm not a fan of Bob Dylan. And he took it as if I didn't like Bob Dylan's music. That's not true. Bob Dylan has a lot of good songs that I enjoy. But when I mean fan, like I am a Led Zeppelin fan. When I mean fan, that means I know a lot of their music, like a majority of their music, I'd say. Well, some bands you can't, because they just keep releasing stuff because of the music contracts. But for the most part, you know a significant amount of their work. Led Zeppelin, I know every single song. I've listened to every single song before. But to be a fan, in my opinion, which doesn't matter if you agree with me or not, because everyone's definition of a fan can be different. If we have different ideas on what a fan is, it doesn't matter, right? It's not like we're gonna need to go to war against each other over something as personal as that type of opinion. But it's like opinions over a definition of something that doesn't really matter. But for me, a fan, you gotta do research on them, and you gotta know about the members of the band, and kinda what inspired them to make the music or whatever, right? So for Badfinger, I learned that the main songwriter passed away because I can't even say everything directly because YouTube censors is just way too much now. But the main singer-songwriter for the band, he passed away because he was very angry at his music record label and how they were screwing him out of his money or something like that, him and the band. I'm gonna say screwing because I can't think of cheating him. They were cheating him out of his money and his band's money, so he's out of money pretty much, and he had no other option. So when I saw that, I took it personally because they wrote songs. They have a couple songs that I really enjoy and find personal to me. So when I found that out, I was pretty devastated. I was like, wow, I will remember this music industry. This wasn't even to me. They didn't do that to me, but I still take it personally. So that's kind of what pushes me forward. All these injustices in the world, I internalize it, and I'm like, I see how it is. You want to play like that? I'm going to show you. So that's how I am with my music. I don't expect myself to get as large as some of these other people with whole record labels behind them, but I studied marketing. I know some of the game. But as long as my music, I think I've brought it to its potential. Each song I've brought it to its potential. I'm happy. Maybe one day my grandkids will look back and be like, wow, Grandpa Gang used to make music. Some of it's weird, some of it's awesome. And some of my songs are a little catchy. Little, I guess they call them hooks now, but I call it chorus because that's what it is. I have choruses that are catchy. But, by the way, I hope this is picking up audio. Imagine I was talking all this and no audio. That's happened to me before. In future secret videos, nope, not gonna say it. So what was I saying before? Potential of music. Each song I'm trying to get to its individual potential. Yeah. Oh, my music. I'm trying trying to make it an experience. I have some songs that are catchy, parts that are catchy, little earworms. But the focus of my music is not to be TikTok bits and earworms like that. That's just not how I want my music to be, and that's what happens to be a lot of the music today. I'm not saying all music, but I guess even back then, music that was popular was always catchy little earworm bits. That's not what I'm trying to do. Parts of my music could be catchy, that's good. I like that. That's what keeps more people in. But when I make an album, I want it to be a nice... I just hit the mic by accident. I hope it didn't cause any... I should stop touching it because from start to finish, it should be something like an experience. Like my first album I bought on iTunes back in, I want to say 2011, Dark Side of the Moon. Well, the first album I ever bought on iTunes was the Skyrim soundtrack. And then Dark Side of the Moon, I'm pretty sure, could have been reversed, but I'm pretty sure Skyrim was first, and then Dark Side of the Moon. Because the first, well, before iTunes, I just listened in the car with my parents. My dad would just burn CDs and listen to those. Remember CDs back in the day? I remember in the oldest car we had, it even had a little spot in his car you could put in cassette tapes. None of that exists anymore. So, the first concert I ever went to was Roger Waters. He's one of the main writers for Pink Floyd. He's also the bass player. That was October 2010, I believe. Yeah, I remember that was October of 5th grade for me. So I don't know if that music, because I watched it live, I loved everything he did with the whole wall and everything. I don't know if exposing a kid to Pink Floyd music is going to screw up their brain or not, but I think I turned out okay. Relatively, compared to a lot of other people. Okay, I don't need to do that. That's going to be a can of worms of just offending people. But yeah, so... Did I forget this microphone? This microphone is what I used to record music. And I thought, this piece of garbage, I'm calling it garbage, but it's gotten me here so far. And the first album is recording on this garbage, so... But in the future, I'm definitely going to be... I'm trying to do vocals in recording studios. There have been recording studios that reach out to me. So I'll definitely take up their offer. My whole plan is to scale up, right? I'm not trying to start. And I guess this is where artists that sign to record labels have an advantage because they get that music and those resources right away. With me, I'm trying to build my own thing because I want to exit whenever I want to. If I'm in a contract, I can't really exit. They're either going to force me to fulfill my contracts or I'm going to disappear. And then when an artist disappears, naturally their work, their songs, their value is going to skyrocket. I work in the insurance industry, unrelated insurance, but there is such thing as musical insurance. Companies, record labels do have insurance clauses for their artists in case something happens. They could make a claim. Think of it as life insurance. But for the musician, do your own research on it. It's kind of dark. So I don't want to be a part of that. I just want to make my own music for when I can, and when I'm done, I'm gonna go do my own thing, move on to the next venture. I have a lot of plans already. Maybe ASMR could be one of them. But I personally see a lot of these things as short term, but maybe that could change. ASMR would be kind of like a fun side hustle. But I'm looking to more actual, that's mean, or I guess some people would take offense to that. I was gonna say I'm looking at more actual businesses, but I guess what I mean is I want to look into more traditional business ventures. I'm not gonna go into it. It's nothing bad. Well, bad is objective, but it's stuff that I could tell people and not feel ashamed. Which, depending on how you see things, the fact that people feel shame for certain things that they do. Hey, I personally think shame is important, but it can go far. But I think shame is something that definitely keeps society intact. If there's no shame, I think society will crumble. But that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. So this mic, I'm gonna scale up. Maybe get a better mic for music. But if I don't want to get rid of this mic, I could use it for ASMR. Now I know there are ASMR people that have ASMR artists, or is it ASMR artists? ASMR artists that buy higher quality mics and stuff like that. So maybe if I really did take ASMR seriously, right now it's just for fun. I'm just putting my foot in the water, seeing where it goes. Because I don't, and it's not about getting views right now either. This is going to my gaming channel. I don't care. And if I did make an ASMR channel, if I didn't want, like if I want eggs in different baskets, I'd have to maybe keep separate identities. So maybe you wouldn't see my face. Who knows? There are a couple ASMR people who manage to stay anonymous. But the only problem is with ASMR now, there's AI. So I think the main way that you could compete with AI in any sort of thing is, especially videos like this, is to have a personality. So maybe a faceless channel would not be ideal if I'm trying to compete with AI. So who knows? But I'm thinking for now, right, if I do get a better mic for music, and I don't want to get rid of this mic yet, if I want the most value out of this $40 mic, yeah, I'm using a $40 mic to record music. I'm about to go on another tangent. My vocal instructor, he was talking to me about how he has a recording mic that's $300 or something. And if I really want, I could look microphones upwards of $1,000. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'm definitely not ready for that. But there are a couple songs I have in mind. By the time I release those songs, I want to be at that level of scaling my music business, right? It's all about scaling up the business. If you're starting from scratch, if you have investors such as a music record label company, you get a head start in terms of that, but there's always a drawback of having to repay your loan. It's like getting a loan, you're going to have to repay it. That's what a lot of these music contracts are, they're loans, which is why if you're watching this and you plan on being a musician and you do sign off a record label, don't spend that chump change on cars, cool cars and stuff like that, because you're going to have to pay it back, and if your music doesn't make them that money, they're going to sign you in more and more contract, bigger loans to pay off the old loan. It's really what it is, it's loans. So be careful out there, and I'm sure the music industry is not the only one that does that. Wherever there's money, there's sharks, and there's minnows. So, like I said, I do want to make the most out of this microphone. I don't know if these are quality sounds, but like I said, for today I'm just trying to whisper, not make any too loud noises by dropping stuff, for example, or accidentally slapping the mic, and not swearing. And think so far I've accomplished all three of those goals. I just cracked my knuckle. I don't know if that cracked my pinky right here. I don't know if that sound was loud enough. Do you think? I don't know if these sounds are gonna be too loud for the mic, but I'm gonna test it. Limit testing. I always limit test on things that aren't super important, I guess. Alright, those are all my knuckles. I don't know if I always have more to say, but we've been going. We've been going for 43 minutes now. The time is 7:58, so this is this isn't even a real ASMR video. This is more of a test, a sneak peek of the possibilities that are gonna come. Sneak peek of the possibilities to come. That sounds better. So if I ended up, did I ever explain this? So this duality of man thing, that if the coin told me to do that, it would have started off ASMR, and then out of nowhere I would have exploded into music mode and started live playing some of my songs to you guys. But for now, it told me to focus on just one thing, and then I flipped another coin and it told me to focus on ASMR today. Oh, I accidentally hit the mic with this notepad. So I don't know if this is surround sound mic, because when I'm making music and I want to adjust the position of my voice on a song, I just pan it, because in Logic you can just pan it, so. But yeah, did I mention it before? I think I went on a tangent, but for my goal of starting new endeavors like this, practice so that you can be the best and find what makes you unique. That's kind of like a business, right? You want to always find the differentiation point that makes your product or your service unique compared to your competitors. So I guess for mine it would be sound layering. I think I did mention it, sound layering, because I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but sometimes when I listen to my songs with my AirPods in and I focus on the sounds of the atmospheric guitar, that's what I like to call it, because it's not really I guess you call it backing, but it's really the stuff that you really have to hone in on and focus on in order to even notice that it's there. When I focus on that, I end up passing out, but then I wake up at the end of the song once the music stops. So we'll see how it goes, but that's if I do decide to make. I think I want to. This is kind of fun, but it's all about time and priorities right now. Is a break. I've been mastering, self-mastering. That's another story for another day. But the reason why I got a self-master, but I've been mastering the songs myself, and it's been going pretty well. Originally was something I had to overcome. Actually, I mentioned it, I think, in the Oblivion videos, but it was something I originally had to overcome. But now that I'm here, it's something I actually am having a lot of fun with. And when I send out these songs to my friends, they could give me input, and I could directly change it myself instead of having to pay more money to have those mastering guys fix it for me. So it's all about finding opportunities in obstacles. Another lesson. More unsolicited lessons. I think that's it. Is there anything else that I should talk about today? Oh yeah, it's all about time. If I have more time, I will. I let that Oblivion series made me realize how much I miss talking on camera. It's so fun. I love talking on camera. I love preaching to the crowd, telling everyone my ideas, I should just throw out my worst ideas and throw them off course. So when I have more time, especially now that I think my computer could stay broken. I don't need to be playing video games right now. Hey, screensaver just went back on. I'll play video games again once more in the future, but right now I'm exploring my other passions and potential hobbies, my creative outlets. So, alright, I'm gonna end this video now. I got 3 songs left on the album I gotta master, but one of them's a 10-minute song. Very conceptual, very experimental song. It's wild. I expect if people are gonna skip through a song, it's gonna be that one, but that song needs to be on the album for greatness. It's not about the popularity and getting more plays, but that song is about, it's like something I know I did and I'm proud of. It helps add to the full experience of the album. So that one's gonna take a while, and I think I'm gonna redo some vocal parts on that song because that one, the vocal, there's a lot of, I think I have a very wide vocal range in terms of not the notes necessarily, like high and low, that's there too, but I mean the style that I'm singing and my tone of voice, it changes throughout the album. And for this 10-minute song, it changes throughout the song. It's like kind of an epic or a play kind of, if that makes sense, like very theatrical song. There's different characters, and the different characters have different voices, but I think I might have stretched some of the voices a little too far to where, I don't want to say where it sounds lazy, but to someone that doesn't know what's going on, it might be too strange for them. It's nothing too crazy, at least in my opinion, but it just might detract from a listener's experience. With art, it's all about finding the perfect balance of making sure the listener or the viewer, if it's like a video or like a painting, it's all about the balance of making sure they have an enjoyable experience and getting your point across and expressing yourself. Find the balance in that. So, and then I didn't even finish telling you about my day. Wow, I could talk forever. I didn't even, because I just keep cutting myself off. Yeah, so it's 8 now. Yeah, so should I even mention it? I feel like it doesn't matter at this point. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I've been yapping too long. I gotta get to work. I gotta finish up this album. So, I'm gonna finish mastering now, and this was very enjoyable. And this wasn't even really a journal, because I talked about a bunch of random stuff. I had a couple stories, but this wasn't even really, it's kind of a splice of my life, as my cousin would call it, but yeah, I could talk forever. So once I have more time, I think I'm gonna do more ASMR, or at least practice ASMR, and eventually I might just launch an ASMR channel. I got decent ideas throughout the years, so, and that's for fun, for views. Nah, I don't care. I'm sure it's like when you focus on the greatness, the views will come naturally. But you should focus on yourself and just be satisfied with what you already got. Remember that. I won't say it twice. Alright guys, enjoy. I'm gonna try and upload this video the same night that I recorded it. So yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. And until then, be the best version of yourself. Peace.